Fans, if you want to relive all today's action again and again, check out nj.com/Game of the Week for a complete game rebroadcast from the convenience of your computer 24/7. You'll also find archived games from this past season and more. It's the Star Ledger and nj.com. It's everything high school sports. St. Benedicts with the lead here at the end of one, 14-8. And based on all the information that I have, it is the first time St. Anthony has trailed at the end of one this year, Rob. They have not trailed at the end of any half this season. St. Anthony with their 83-game winning streak on the line, and looked like both teams were probing throughout that first quarter to find a rhythm.
Yeah, and up until the last minute and a half, 2 minutes, St. Anthony's was dictating tempo, but a couple of turnovers allowed St. Benedicts to get themselves a 6-point lead.
St. Anthony with the ball to open up. Here's Josh Brown. Brown still scoreless. Taron Smith, junior guard, is coming for the first time for St. Anthony. Now Tim Coleman. Alice Cook has already knocked down a couple of threes. And Brown into a travel. And right now St. Anthony looking a little rushed, something that occurred to them during the SNY Invitational last weekend. They did not come out and have the best start against boys and girls before they had a great defensive second half.
And this team in particular, at times, they struggle offensively. Their defense is good in the quarter court as maybe St. Anthony's has had. A little different than some of their great defensive teams that would get out and put that ball pressure 94 feet. But in the quarter court, they are really solid, but their offense at times can be missing.
And St. Anthony's turned it over 6 times. Young creating room, can't get that to fall, and an over the back is going to be called here against St. Benedicts. That's 6'6" junior Tyrell Green, a Canadian in his first year with the program. So the Friars will have it back. The Friars have only knocked down 2 field goals into the second quarter, both threes from Alice Cook. Coleman getting it back, Taron Smith.
And St. Benedict's doing a great job with their ball pressure.
And Briscoe reading the pass and stepping in front of Mosley, who takes it in and takes the hard foul.
That should be an intentional foul. No signal yet. And no intentional foul called. You've got yourself out on the break right here. Let's see if he makes a play on the ball. He just grabs him. You cannot have a better example. If you were an assigner of officials, you'd take that play and say, see, that's an intentional foul. There's absolutely no way he shouldn't be shooting 2 shots and a ball. You got to protect players out on the break. He grabbed them from behind. I can't believe they didn't make that call.
That is certainly the textbook classic example.
Yeah, that would be exactly what you would show if you were running an officiating camp.
Free throw, the second one doesn't go for Briscoe. But it's St. Benedict's opening up the 7-point lead and an 8-0 run. Taron Smith, Jordan forehand all over him.
All over him's right. Defensive pressure by the Gray Bees right now, bothering St. Anthony.
Smith from the outside, well off. And Briscoe nor Young could rebound for St. Benedict's.
And when you've got that kind of ball pressure, you got to be able to put the ball to the floor and get by people, get into gaps, get into lanes. If not, that ball pressure is just going to turn it up.
And the Friars just returning 2 starters from last year's brilliant team. Offensively, have been struggling just a little bit compared to the usual numbers, 56 points per game. You're used to seeing the Friars put up a little bit more. But here's St. Benedict still shutting them out in the second quarter. Coleman, their turnaround, that doesn't go. And the rebound and the tip won't go either for Control Brooks. Briscoe in the air, forehand. Tyrell Green to the basket and an offensive foul. There's Tim Coleman again, this time stepping in for the charge.
Yeah, that was an easy call. He had his feet planted well in advance. Green got himself out of control. That's just good, solid position defense.
Second foul on Tyrell Green. So he is going to sit. So for the Friars, here's what's at stake in case you've been living under a rock in terms of following the New Jersey or national high school basketball scene. Last loss coming March of 2010 to Trenton Catholic.
Yeah, 83 straight games, really incredible. And talking to Coach Hurley, said, you know, when we won back-to-back undefeated 65 in a row, that was incredible. He said, I think, though, it may be more impressive that we're 18-0 this year after losing all those guys. Kyle Anderson with the great 2 years after he transferred from Patterson Catholic when Patterson Catholic was shut down.
Another miss at the rim from Brooks. Coleman staying with it.
And finally, this time able to clean it completely up, come up with the offensive board, and get the hoop.
Much needed bucket for the Friars. So they cut it to a 5-point St. Benedict's lead. Another foul inside against the Friars. So the first made 2 for St. Anthony. They're going to get Taron Smith here. 3 minutes into this second quarter. Been much more of a methodical game between these two excellent teams and programs. Briscoe to save it. Briscoe then putting the ball on the floor, airballing the shots. Rebound though by Young. Young finds room at the baseline. That's swatted away. And the Flyers looking to go for the first time in transition. Brown was cut off by Williams.
So if you get an opportunity to go find an easy bucket in transition, fine. If not, they're going to reset and try to run through.
Smith did not like his shooting options. Brown defended by Williams. Been all over him. And Brown into an air ball. Josh Brown is this Flyers program leading scorer at over 13 points per game. And the focal point also as the point guard. But Coach Mark Taylor of St. Benedicts recently put Jonathan Williams into the starting lineup. And going even smaller, taking the 6'11" freshman Rodney Miller off the floor. So far tonight, it's paid off. Briscoe off on the 3. Brown this time in the low post. Smith got the screen. Taron Smith knocking down a 3.
Down the screen in gives him a wide open look. Looked like Josh Brown was going to once again try and take the much smaller Jonathan Williams into the post. Didn't feel it. Instead, good ball movement to get the open one.
St. Anthony within a bucket. Ennis right back running at the 3. Young on the offensive glass. And a Flyers foul.
And that was one of Coach Hurley's biggest concerns coming in. Would they be able to keep Big Mike Young off the offensive glass? See the Pitt logo there on his left side of his shoulder. Originally from the Pittsburgh area, McKeesport just outside of the city of Pittsburgh, so he'll be going home for his college career.
Yep, Young will finally find a comfort zone. He's been bouncing around. Spent his sophomore season with St. Benedict's under then coach Rashawn McLeod. Transferred last year to join that great group at Hudson Catholic, who without Young is right now number 2 in the Star Ledger top 20 poll. And Young making the second back to St. Benedict's for his senior year. A 3-point game. Brown around forehand. The pass off the hands of Coleman. And Young, he was looking for Williams, and there's an easy travel.
And even though St. Anthony's turned the basketball over, that's what Josh Brown has got to do against the defensive pressure. Jordan forehand all over him. You got to put it to the deck, get by guys to create some opportunities. Nice bounce pass, but Coleman just unable to corral it.
So the Friars having it again. They led once in the first quarter. Out of the corner, there's a 3 from Jenkins that doesn't go. Not normally his game. And Ennis quickly on the push. Ennis firing inside. Young can't get the roll. Taylor can't get the tip either. And it'll stay here with the Gray Bees.
Great vision with the ball in his hands by Tyler Ennis. The guy, as we said, he's a scoring point guard, but he's just as comfortable finding his teammates.
Ennis, floater, doesn't go. Taylor missed the rebound. Here's Cook the other way. Cook, and then a hard foul as forehand got him.
Now, first time that St. Anthony's has been able to get what looked like it was going to be an easy bucket, but great hustle by Jordan Forehand to get involved. I'm not sure there are going to be any easy buckets tonight. Both these teams with good energy on the defensive side.
Alice Cook to the line, and you certainly sense that the players know that too, not to give up easy twos. This is not going to be a high possession type of game, and we're already seeing that here in the second quarter. Alice Cook putting in the first free throw.
But even though the Friars are behind, the game is going exactly the way they want it. You know, this pace, 16-14 with under 3 left to go. That's exactly the type of scoring pace that Bob Hurley was hoping for.
Cook up to 8. Says the big change has been Bob Hurley's taken the leash off of him a little bit. If he's missing threes, he's not going to take them out, as this one is on the sideline. Out of bounds is Jonathan Williams, and the Friars will have it back.
You gotta love the way they got down 8. They never panicked. So many times you see other teams when all of a sudden another team is on a run to panic, and then not so. And not only you're never going to see panic from Bob Hurley on the sidelines, but you don't see it from the likes of Josh Brown with the ball in his hands. Some teams and guys want to try to get all 8 right back. You just got to stay within who you are. And now all of a sudden, if you start getting some stops and playing well on offense, the run goes the other way.
5-second count, and Bob Hurley irate with Cody Jenkins for not flashing to the basketball. And both teams mired in some turnover issues here late in the second quarter. Still St. Benedicts by 1. And you talk about not getting flustered. These teams play these kinds of monster games on a consistent basis. And while the Friars 18-0, St. Benedict's 18-1, that has not been at all due to a soft schedule. If there was a high school basketball RPI, the numbers would be extremely high. Taylor off the double team. Ennis to recover. Ennis using the screen to the fall away. Tyler Ennis.
Well, Terrence Smith got himself caught on the backside of that high ball screen. You can't go under when the basketball's in Tyler Ennis's hands. He's too good of a shooter. You got to hedge and get over top. Gets there a little bit late, even though both guys go challenge the shot once it's in the air. You got to be more aggressive on the high ball screen.
Bob Hurley asking the officials about a moving screen prior to the shot. But the timeout on the floor, 18-15 the score. For the Grabies, there are a total of 7 Division I players in this game, but here are the biggest names for St. Benedict's. There's going to be even more off their bench, but Ennis, Young, and Taylor, all phenomenal players. And you're going to add a couple more to the list when all is said and done.
Oh, yeah, with their underclassmen, that list will certainly grow. But those 3 seniors, and not only Division I players, but you're talking about 2 guys going to play in the Big East. ODU now moving to Conference USA, so guys playing at a high level. I say Big East, but next year it's the ACC for both Syracuse and Pittsburgh. It'll be hard to start saying that for a while, but while they're still in the Big East, let's at least call it the way that it should be, the Big East.
Completely agree. And you look even further down the road, we see Rodney Miller, the 6'11" freshman center. You're looking at a game where at least a couple of these Grabies players, and perhaps even a Hallis Cook, a Josh Brown, a game right here that there could be a few players that play in at least one NBA game in the future.
Oh, yeah, sure. Josh Brown going to play at Temple. Remember, Temple moving to the Big East. Hallis Cook in the Pac-12 with Oregon State. So, yeah, not guys that are just, Division I players that are playing at low majors. You've got a lot of high major guys on the floor.
Certainly a good facility for that opportunity for all these guys. Cook inside. Couldn't finish. Offensive rebound, Kentrell Brooks. Or rather, Cody Jenkins still can't hit. There is Brooks. Another opportunity. Finally, Denzel Taylor ripping it away for St. Benedict's. The outlet to Briscoe. Taking it in hard on Brown.
There's that upper body strength of Isaiah Briscoe. Nearly got himself an opportunity for a 3-point play. There's the biggest difference in strength. Briscoe may be a sophomore, but he's so much stronger up top than some of the St. Anthony's guys. You saw missed shots at the rim by Cody Jenkins and Contrell Brooks back to back. That's the biggest issue for both of those guys. The ability to finish around the rim through contact. They've got to continue to really work on that upper body strength.
Mark Taylor feels the sky is the limit for Isaiah Briscoe. And some of the heavyweights around college basketball have been long interested in him, like Syracuse and most of the current Big East. But we have a lane violation. So Briscoe making one free throw.
And Arizona very high on his list as well. Syracuse, some people think may have the inside track since his sister, Asia Hemingway, played there. But he's still wide open.
Cook on the back cut, got his feet set, and that's what happens.
You know, if you're overplayed, don't keep running to the basketball, go back door, and then the way to get that pass, the bounce pass. And so many times guys try to put it with the chest pass, and now you get a deflection. Put it to the ground. Smart play by both guys.
10 points for Hallis Cook to lead all players. Taylor inside. Briscoe got the kick out. Ennis launching the three. And a rebound fell down in the hands of Josh Brown.
A nice closeout. Two guys running at Ennis to bother his look.
Cook to the outside on the pull-up. That's junior Chetty Mosley into the game for the first time for the Flyers. And Josh Brown just picked up the personal. That's going to be number 2.
Brown, the nice bounce pass, able to split both defenders. That is just textbook, simple, fundamental basketball, and that's what you get from St. Anthony. And with that second foul, Josh Brown goes to the bench for this last possession.
St. Benedicts did not hold for the final shot of the first. Looks like they're going to do that here for the second. Briscoe. And Briscoe stepped on the sideline, out of bounds. This is a much bigger floor than these teams are generally accustomed to playing at, particularly St. Anthony and some of the smaller courts that they use as their home gyms.
But Coach Hurley thought that was a bit to their advantage because they were going to see the press from St. Benedicts.
5 seconds to go. Cody Jenkins. Jenkins stripped, but then a foul. That's going to be the 16th foul on St. Benedict's, so it'll be non-shooting as Ennis thought he had the clean steal. So St. Anthony will get it in, and Brown will come in just to launch this pass. And obviously Hallis Cook is the guy. That is the obvious choice. They look for Cook, intercepted by Taylor, and that's it. But for the first time all season, St. Anthony trails at the half. It's just a 2-point St. Benedict's lead, 19-17. We're coming back with first half highlights and numbers here from the Prudential Center with the Star Ledger and NJ.com on Verizon, Bios 1 Sports.